December 8th, 2021. Now, in 1993-94, President Clinton-ish, some shitbag came after my father with a lawsuit. Some blue sky, whatever, was violated. And my father, whatever that means, I don't know. And so my father had the business, he lost his principal's license, and he had to move back in with his father in Bayside, New York, 11361. Now, I was a junior about to become a senior. So they moved me from safety net in private public school in Suffolk County, and they moved me back to Queens. Now I'm in New York City, and the Bayside public school, you had to go through, they wouldn't allow me to go to Cardoza for some reason, and then the Bayside public school, you had to go through metal detectors. Wasn't sitting right, and it was too diverse, let's call it. So then the other option was Catholic school. So St. Francis Prep, I had a problem in my chemistry class in Cold Spring Harbor the year before, so I couldn't qualify for some reason at St. Francis. Oh, they didn't take seniors, I think it was. So I either had to go back a year to St. Mary's, or in Manhasset, or St. John's was the other option. This is what St. John's looks like. It's on something called a Crescent Street. These are the actual facts of these shitbag institutions in this area. Here's the mail that actually gets through. This is what they're allowing. Not all of my mail comes through. Nothing important ever does. It's usually just bills or bad news. And that's the address. They do have a notation, however, of my first problem, but that 96 is the year I graduated. And on here it says, oh my God, here we are, ready? One of the seniors named Anthony. It's an alumni letter asking me to send money. Here's an envelope. They want me to send them money to support them, not on your lives. And here's this is what it looked like. Oh my God, right? Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that. But being that they stole my father's business, legitimate business, and forced us into the Queens area back in 96 with your biological terrorism unit. But it is interesting with this. It does say here, however, let's just be fully transparent, since they weren't when I was entering their really horrific educational system. The values of tradition, scholarship, and service are deeply ingrained in their character. I doubt that. How the teachers drew the best out of him and how grateful he was. Not on your lives. I wasn't. You weren't helpful. You didn't give me any of the classes that I needed. You misinstructed me. You didn't give me any kind of civic or engineering, like entryway, no national security advice, even though we were already in a dangerous position and there were specific restrictive whatevers. Since this is what was where I was showing up every day, they had requirements that they withheld from me. At taking responsibility. And it says this Catholic education in the Vincentian tradition. I don't know. It's not Venetian, that's for sure. I don't know what Vincentian, here it is, by my finger, right there. I don't know what that means. Maybe you could ask the Crescent kids, since the school was located on Crescent Street. And I know that's a big one in Astoria, because there was a very big Greek population when I was there. Thing was, is that there were two different kind of Greeks, and that got a little confusing. And they weren't even able to explain to me, because I don't consider myself Greek. So I didn't know what to call myself. I was like, you know what? Just call me French vanilla. If you're all calling yourself Greek, in two different versions of Greek, I'm French vanilla. And that's what I went by. That was my nickname. It says St. John's Prep lacks the resources of taxpayer-funded public schools and endowed private schools. That's the word. Endowment. I have no endowment here. I don't know why. I don't know what it means to outside whatevers that have expectations. But somebody called me just recently and said, if I send you an envelope, will you send it back? And I'm like, I have no job. Because every time they send an envelope to me, they expect donation. Here, Giving Society and donations. Patrons, support, friends, others, whatever you can afford. They're always looking for money when they send you some form of envelope. Only envelope I've ever seen is the one with the humans have their hands out, expecting you to support them with something in monetary value. Yet they've contributed nothing ever since my entry, or my attempt at entry to society, being through the school system, which they require in the state of New York. So, it says that they rely on taxpayer-funded, or they lack the resources of taxpayer-funded public schools and endowed private schools. We depend upon financial support from you, our alumni, in order to keep our tuition affordable, to offer scholarships to those in need, and to give our students a richness of learning of extracurricular opportunities. Please stand by St. John's Prep through a tax-deductible donation. Wow. And then it's part of this new movement, whoever that is. Because I mean, there's a Greek portion, and then it seems to be a Latin portion. I don't understand why Astoria, being a very Greek community, was pushing a very Latin agenda. If that's the way that they're going with co-ed, I'm not quite sure. But I don't see why I am at the part where I get squeezed with my back against the wall and I have no way of supporting myself and of having a proper marriage. I don't understand how the locals are able to get away with this. I don't. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. In the century, I graduated in century 19, decade 9, plus 6 years from this institution. I am now, without any forethought or whatever, it's just where it got steered by whatever, walking in serendipitously to these disgusting situations that then somebody wants to punish me for, and somebody wants me to explain to them, and somebody wants me to defend them, which I don't want to do. And so now, here we are at Millennial 2. This was Millennial 1. Century 9. Decade 9 plus 6 years. I'm in Millennial 2. Century 0. Decade 2 plus 1 year. And this is the outcome. This is the summation. This is where I've been forced back to, because everything's been written into my existence to purposely fail me forward. And it's really, really, it's a dangerous game, which I don't want to take part in, and I don't know how to protect myself from.